How can Missouri better support our veterans and active duty military personnel?
You know, the first thing we need to do is we need to do what we promised them. That's really clear. But, you know, this isn't really probably what you want for your answer for your question, but I don't think we ought to treat people based on classifications. I think we ought to treat everybody equally. And I don't think we ought to say that if you live here, we're going to charge you this, but if you live here, we charge you this. I don't think we ought to say if you're in the military, we give you this discount, but everybody else has to pay twice as much. I don't think that's good government. I think what we ought to say is if you're a Missourian, if you're an American, the law applies equally. You know, there have been times when people have said, why don't we do this in the Secretary of State's office? Because, you know, when you're a military individual and you move, it's harder sometimes to get licensed and make sure you have licensing reciprocity. What I've always said is, why don't we just make that rule for everybody? Why don't we just say that government is the problem, and let's get government out of the way, let people make their own decisions, and not be picking and choosing winners and losers. I appreciate veterans. I have veterans in my family. I like what they've done. But what we ought to do is say, if it's good for veterans, it's good to do it for everyone.
Mr. Lieutenant Governor.